game. Seen a lot of pain with the fame. Seen a lot of highs and lows, but that's just the way life goes. See my name written in lights. I've seen a lot of things in my life. Seen a lot of highs and lows, but that's just the way life goes. Yo, I grabbed the.
Thank you guys for coming. This is very, very special for both of us, because something that we conceptually kind of wanted to put this together, collaborating, figuring out a way how we can kind of connect the dots. And this is a great experience just to see all you guys in here.
Honestly, the whole concept with R.I.S E, with what we're looking to do is we're looking to provide, number one, provide more platforms for artists to express themselves in a positive way. The second aspect is bridging the gap between emerging and professional artists. I feel like there's a lot of resources, there's a lot of opportunities in Toronto, but it's one thing to have the resources, another thing to have access to these resources, right?
Definitely you guys are going to learn a lot from these three individuals.
25-year veteran in the hip-hop game. He is a Juno-nominated artist and a Juno Award winner. CBC deemed this guy the greatest of all-time hip-hop artists, Canadian artist, the greatest Canadian hip-hop artist of all time, Mr. Meastro Fresh Wes! Yes, sir. He's a light-skinned, smooth brother. His style goes by Soul Hop because it's just smooth and rhythmic and melodic, and he is a huge community activist. This guy has awards on top of awards on top of awards. Started out beatboxing, DJing, spitting some of the coldest rhymes I've heard in a long time. Mr. aka Subliminal. Yes, sir. When this guy was coming up, people deemed him like, you know, like an artist that's really cool or whatnot, and kind of like blended it to everyone else. And this guy really set himself apart with what he did with that Unauthorized Biography series. So, none other than, let me introduce my man, Shaun Boothe. Come to the stage. Baby. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Honestly, I could boast, I could brag as much as I want, but these guys really are living legends and history makers in the flesh right here in front of you. This is a blessed and esteemed opportunity that we're having here in Scarborough.
How's everybody feeling tonight, man? Wes Williams is the name, otherwise known as the Meastro Fresh Wes. Straight up. Hip-hop is my foundation. I love it. I used to start off writing rhymes with Nielsen and Shepard with my man Ebony MC. We formed a group called Vision back in the days, man. So this is what I do, man. I'm proud to say that my first record, Let Your Backbone Slide, this is the 25th year anniversary of that song, right? And written right here in Scarborough, you know what I mean?
I do a lot of things. I'm like the jack of all trade. I don't like the saying jack of all trade, master of none. I like jack of all trade, ace of some. And so I'm that dude that like does pretty much everything, right? One thing that was left out that I'm super proud of all the stuff I do, but I also, believe it or not, on top of the beatboxing and the DJing and the MCing and the production, the video stuff, and the acting. I've been in a lot of different movies and films and so forth. I also have a degree in architecture from the University of Toronto. Okay, and the number one thing I would say that I gained from that was the ability to take whatever's in my mind and create it. But I'm gonna pass it to my man to the right. I know him as Ricochet, you know what I'm saying? I know him as Ricochet. Okay. You might know him as Shaun Boothe.
People don't make the connection because of the braids. I had
Ricochet
to cut the braids
was dope.
off,
I was always asking what happened to that dude. That's you?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
no,
yeah,
listen,
that's me.
Listen, hold on. I'm a big fan of your stuff for a long time, dude. Because that dude, I didn't know I was just the other day. I was like, what happened to Ricochet?
Yeah, this Ricochet dropped the Ricochet and went by Shaun Boothe. So here he is. My pops had a restaurant back in the day on Markham Road, Markham and Ellesmere, and that's actually where I met this man for the first time. I was just backstage telling him about that. I didn't even believe it was him. No, I mean, Maestro couldn't come into my dad's restaurant. So he went, my pops actually went and got the autograph for me because he knew I would regret it for the rest of my life if I didn't get that autograph.
I'm gonna throw this out to anyone you guys that wanna answer first, man. The theme of the show is Alchemy, Benevolence, and Culture, right? So, Alchemy, as we were asking it before when you guys were in the back before you came out, how did you turn your art form of lyricism and MCing into, I guess, like a business, into your goal?
I knew that nobody knew who Ricochet was or cared who Ricochet was, so I wouldn't be able to get a crowd even like this out. So what I wanted to do was connect with other artists, like-minded people, and create something and push a concept and push the barbershop show instead of pushing us individually. So we started off, there was groups called Empire, Hustle Man, and it grew to like Dwayne Morgan, and we all kind of got together and created this series. And it wasn't about any of us individually, it was about the barbershop show concept. And I think that was a way to create a platform for all of us.
The first thing that I got into was DJing. I competed in the DMC competition. That's a big time turntablist competition. I'm the first DJ in the history of the DMC to ever qualify to go on to the next round, but then get disqualified for scratching with a Walkman. Everything I apply myself to, I always think, how could I make it different than what everybody else is doing? A lot of my talents came out of the need because I couldn't pay people to do it. So I learned how to edit my own videos. I learned how to produce my own beats. I learned how to write, et cetera, et cetera.
Do not make records. Make history. Anybody can make a record, especially in this day with all this technological advancements we have. Anyone can make a record. When I say make history, all I'm saying is work extra hard, work a little harder that what you do resonates, man, that lasts forever. That video I did is called Timeless. Basically, you know, like I said, 2014 commemorates the 25th year anniversary of my first record. For some strange reason, I'm watching the Olympics a couple of days ago, and they had the bobsled championship, and they're playing Let Your Backboard Slide over there. To me, that's kind of cool. I got a book called Stick to Your Vision. Some people may know of it, some people don't. I'm real proud of it, man. I'm really proud of the fact that I made this happen, man. And I define vision in the book as a forward, moving, motivating intention. Number one is expectation.
Expectation.
Number two is operation.
Operation.
And number three is destination.
Destination. Benevolence.
Yeah.
Disposition to do good. Why is it so important for you to give back?
I started to get hit up by different organizations, an organization called Blueprint for Life, for Youth Initiative and different people, War Child. So I started volunteering my time a little bit. It was never my intention to become this motivational speaker. But as I started to get into the schools more and more, and I began to see the effect that the negative hip-hop was having on the generation, it hit me in my spirit. When I saw, you know, working with kids in Jane and Finch out of Shoreham, and I'm like, let me see you write a rap, and they write in grade 4, lick it like a lollipop, lick it, right? And I'm like, I wonder if these people, you know, that are making this music could see the actual effect and what this is happening on a bigger scale of what it's doing to our people. For me, it's about leaving a legacy, right? I don't care about YouTube views and all that stuff. I want to leave a legacy and change this. We got to do something. I'm not trying to change the world, but I hope that I can give youth the tools needed to be critical thinkers when they're faced with certain decisions they got to make.
Man, you left me with absolutely nothing left to say. I mean, to me, it wasn't about meeting expectations, it was about beating those expectations, especially in the black community. As young black males, that bar is set so low for us, you know, in terms of the stereotypes that they want us to live up to, or the things they expect of us. It's sad when we see how we internalize those same things. And the reason I want to try, you know, it's funny, it's interesting that we all do work in schools, and the messages are so similar. You're talking about leaving a legacy. That's my message as well. I mean, I've created the Bio series where I honor and celebrate the legacies of incredible cultural icons, because I think there's lessons to be learned about legacy and letting people know that they are all leaving a legacy. And to me, I had to step back and ask myself, okay, yeah, you may have known me as Ricochet, or you may know this song or that song on the radio or these music videos, but what is my legacy gonna be? How are people really gonna remember me? And then I had to ask myself, what's really important to me? You know, and when I asked those questions, I kind of realized I was going about the whole thing in a roundabout way in terms of reaching people. I was trying to become popular or get on Flow or get on Much Music, but ultimately all I really wanted to do was reach young people and try and share what I know, inspire them in any way, trigger something within them.
Culture. Booth. How has the legacy of individuals you speak on or that you've covered in your music influenced culture?
Every icon that I focus on is a cultural icon in a different, unique way. When I look at James Brown, which is actually the first person he kind of sparked the whole the whole bio series concept of the idea. And it was when he passed that I wanted to honor him, because I know the history of James Brown, and especially with hip hop raising me as far as my culture, I wanted to, you know, I want to do something to pay tribute to him. And to me, culture is everything, you know. So celebrating their legacies, the legacies of all those different icons, is an opportunity to, I guess, just to show diversity when it comes to culture, because I think everyone kind of gravitates to different things. So I want to create a series where I kind of showed the different cultures, from James Brown to Bob Marley, me being Jamaican as well, showing all those things and how they help raise and mold an individual in a unique way.
Growing up in a household full of music, I'm talking everything from Lord Kitsch to Bob Marley to the Mighty Sparrow to Barbra Streisand to Tito Puente to Harry Connick Jr. to Led Zeppelin. I grew up with a lot of things. So I naturally, in terms of hip hop, gravitated towards like the Tribe Called Quest. When I heard those live bass lines, when I gravitated towards the Roots, when I heard the live drums, and so that the music that I grew up with impacted me. And I do a workshop with youth where I talk about culture of self, and culture is much deeper than just your ethnic culture. I see a lot of people here who repping hip hop culture like it's I'm seeing high tops.
Shout out the tribe.
You know what I'm saying? So culture is many, many things. It's more than just ethnicity. It's how you talk. It's how you live. It's spirituality. It's all these different things combined into one.
We're all here talking about, like, a lot of times what I've done, what we've all done, but it's all of us moving together, man. So when I think of culture, it's not just one or two of us, man. It's a movement of people. You know what I'm saying? Hip-hop will never revolve around one rapper. Hip-hop will never revolve around one DJ, one record label, one radio station, one magazine, or one award show.
Knowing what you know now, what will you tell them to make it successful in whatever it is they want to do?
I think first and foremost, to me, the most important thing is having that unwavering belief in yourself. All the time, just as a test to myself, I ask people, how many people have a dream at all three different levels? And in the university level, you kind of had some people put their hand up. And high school level, you had even less people put their hand up, because you'd have one or two. But then it was in the grade 5 and grade 8 where I asked, how many of you guys have a dream? These kids would be jumping up with their hands, just dying to share what that dream is. Always continue to believe in yourself. Surround yourself with people who are going to support that belief.
When you hear people talking about putting it out into the universe, I'm down with that. I get that. I did that in 2010. I wish we could call up my boy Godfrey Fletcher in the UK right now, and he could tell you the talk we had at 4 a.m. in his living room. I was tired of being a check-to-check artist. I wanted to settle down and get married. How do I do that being an artist? I want to have a child by the time I'm at least 35. How am I going to do that? I want to have a nice ride. I want to be able to give back. How am I going to do all this stuff? And here I am 4 years later, surpassed all of that stuff. So not only do you put it out in the universe, but you got to put your ass to work. You got to do it. What are you going to do that nobody else is willing to do? And it comes down to time management. I schedule time for my wife. I put it in. You know what I'm saying? I make sure, right? My ultimate goal where I'm trying to get to is I don't want my wife working to help the accountant she's working for anymore. I want my wife working for me. So you're going to watch in the next 2 years, my wife is going to work for me. You know what we do that? We keep the money internally. We work in our family. We give back to our community. Community feeds me and my wife. It's a win-win all around.
When I said stick to your vision, adding on to what my man Shaun Boothe said, I don't mean specifically you stick to one specific thing. That means whatever you do, you strive for greatness. Understand what I'm saying? Greatness. Because if you fall off from greatness and it just ends up being good, you can live with that, 'cause at least you strive to be great at something. But if you strive to just be good or average, to me, average is the cousin of okay, and okay is the cousin of aight. That's not sexy to me, man. I'm striving for greatness, man. Let's just keep it moving. God bless.